everybody. Dutch Sense here. 4:29 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday, April 16th, 2013. And we're looking at Earthquake 3D here, which is a USGS feed of the most recent earthquakes. And I've got it turned down over the last 48 hours. 2.5 and greater in the United States, 4.0 and greater internationally. And most likely, you've already heard about it, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck at the border of Iran and Pakistan. And 34 people confirmed dead in Pakistan. We don't know how many people injured or dead in Iran, but it's a huge earthquake that occurred. So let's go ahead and get the statistics on this really quick. 51 miles deep, 82 kilometers, reviewed by a seismologist, 7.8 magnitude. Originally, it was reported by several agencies as an 8.0. So now USGS reporting 7.8. It's a matter of 0.2. It's still a huge earthquake for the region and caused a lot of damage. Now let's look at the area overall. Okay, this is just the last 48 hours, 4.0 and greater. So you can see the Southwest Pacific from north of New Zealand curving up west towards Papua New Guinea and then going all the way west to Sumatra, a huge amount of movement. Now, let me go ahead and turn it down just another day, and you'll see a couple 6.0s that have shown up in here. All right, and that's at undersea volcano locations. We've got Vanuatu, and then we also have Papua New Guinea. And when you zoom in, you can see it's out to sea here, each one of them, and that's well-known undersea volcanoes that are still active, and they've been kicking up in pace over the last several years, and specifically starting 2 years ago now almost, when the plate fracture began here at the Indo-Australian plate. And that's something that we all need to be aware of, that that's still going on, that the unrest that's spilling over from the Indo-Australian plate is causing a lot of this movement in the Southwest Pacific. Okay, so let me go ahead and turn it back down here. And then you really get to see the cluster points over the last 7 days. You can see the swarm area here in Iran, okay, and then now to the east of that area, the 7.8 and 4.1 still in Iran. So that's a lot of movement to occur right there in the Middle East. I would expect that we'll see a spillover effect occur in Europe. Look how quiet Europe has been. All right, we have a 4.3 that occurred down here in Morocco and a 4.1 near El Hierro volcano. Both of these are volcanic locations. Let me take you over to my blog really quick. Okay, the Iran earthquake itself, and I did screenshots of this, is located within 50 miles of the only 2 active volcanoes in Iran, or at least the 2 that are marked on Google Earth. And I took screenshots of that. You can see it. And again, the depth was 51 miles. You know, take it as you will, folks. It's definitely, I think, a sign that we're seeing volcanic movement, not just normal earthquake movement. And that's evidenced by the movement in Morocco, okay, the 4.3 here. You can come over to my page, and I urge you guys to do this yourself. Just look up the coordinates. Whenever you see an earthquake at an out of the ordinary location, that you actually look it up and see what's there. Here's the Morocco earthquake, and it turns out it's right in the middle of a volcanic complex. You got a volcano here, 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 and then that's where the earthquake occurred, 4.3 magnitude in North Africa, which to me stood out immediately. We don't see too many earthquakes in that location. Now, last night, there was some harmonic movement that occurred out of Yellowstone. All right, now we're looking at the last 7 days, so you see this 2.9 here. That appeared today. All right, it was originally a 3.0, now downgraded to a 2.9. But last night, there was harmonic movement that started to show, and I posted that on my Facebook wall saying, hey, we need to watch for something. Well, within an hour of posting that, we saw the swarm erupt here in central Oklahoma. All right, we had 2 4.0 earthquakes, a 4.3 and a 4.2, multiple 3.0s, and multiple 2.0s, all roughly in the same spot at a fracking operation. Okay, and you don't have to take my word for it. Again, went and looked up the coordinates, and you can just definitely see that it's inside of a large fracking operation. And you got a residential area here too, and inside of the residential area, there it is. There's at least 3 that I was able to find right off the bat last night when it first occurred. Now, there was a subsequent earthquake further to the southeast that also was inside of a large fracking operation. So whenever you see movement here in Oklahoma, Arkansas, South Colorado at the New Mexico border, anywhere in this region here, even down into Texas, if there's earthquake movement there, go look it up. You'll most likely find that it's a part of a drilling, injection well, oil well operation. Now, up here to the northwest, Yellowstone, okay, that's showing movement on the northwest tip of the craton, the unsubducted plate, and then the 2.8 up here to the northeast in Canada, again, along the edge of the North American craton. So we're seeing pressure build. getting pushed, basically, from the west. Okay, we're all taught that it's actually pushed from the east from the mid-Atlantic ridge. Well, look at this activity here to the west. Really, it's spilling up over Alaska and terminating right here at the south tip of Alaska. No large earthquakes anywhere along the west coast of the United States. For a fairly long time now, we saw some 6.0 activity down here to the south near the Salton Sea, just south of the Salton Sea, multiple 6.0s over the last year, and then here to the north. A couple 7.0s struck north of British Columbia. So it's an area we need to watch. The areas where we're seeing swarm movement in the adjacent areas, so watch Arkansas, watch Colorado, watch Texas, and of course watch Bayou Corn. Also, along the west coast of the United States, off the coast of Oregon, where the new lava fields are, all right, and going north all the way to British Columbia, anywhere in this region here, and then skip pretty much the entire central portion of California, and then get down here to the south portion of California near Salton Sea. We need to watch for further movement as well. Large earthquake threat down here to the south, South America, showing 4 and 5.0 earthquake movement. Hasn't happened like this in a while. We do need to be aware. Chile to Argentina, that is an area I would watch. Also, Colombia, right here where these two 4.3s are. Saw a couple 7.0 earthquakes over the last several months in that location. To the west, well, anywhere from Japan, I mean, you can see the cluster points. So you've got a cluster point here in Japan, a cluster point at Kamchatka, Russia. Again, these are all volcanic related. Go south here, south of Taiwan, again, undersea volcano. Get south here right to New Guinea, again, undersea volcano. Vanuatu, undersea volcano. And then you get to the plate fracture over here to the west, where there's no movement actually on that plate once it fractured. The areas are now, I think, trying to keep up with that fracture that originally happened. As you get through the Middle East, Iran, multiple swarms of 4 and 5.0 earthquakes, and of course the 7.8 we talked about earlier. Europe, look at you, completely quiet. We need to watch North Italy going to Poland. All right, anywhere in this region here, since the movement's happening to the east and to the west at the volcanic sites, including the Mid-Atlantic Ridge and the North Pole, geographic North Pole, 180 miles off the geographic North Pole, 4.6 at an undersea ridge break. So watch North Italy going up to Poland. Anywhere in this region here will most likely see some kind of 4.0 activity or greater in the next week. And we're talking near-term forecast here, guys, 1 week or less. We're going to continue to see movement. I don't see this dying out anytime soon. If you live in an earthquake-prone area, have a plan. Be prepared just in case. And if you live along, for instance, the edge of the North American Craton, be prepared for moderate earthquake movement in areas where you wouldn't normally see it. For instance, the 5.9 that happened over here in Virginia happened after we saw earthquake swarms happen in Oklahoma and Arkansas and Colorado. So if we start to see earthquake swarms at adjacent areas, Arkansas, Colorado, Texas, we need to watch further to the east for that to relieve the stress. It has to pass it on to the next location. And that's what we're seeing happen pretty much around the entire planet right now, spilling over from the break point west through Europe, volcanic locations, down the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, bringing it right back over to Central America, down to South America. It really is. You can just follow the line and see what's moved over the last week. That alone is a lot of movement. So a lot of 4.0 and 5.0 activity needs to be monitored. That will give you your future large-scale activity. Okay? Hang in there, folks. I'll put links down below for the earthquake monitoring links. You can monitor it yourself. Cheers, folks.